there.
And Diarra Cunningham.
Hello there. I guys, you freaked me out there, Rocco. You took my line.
He'll never take your line. He'll never take it.
He'll never take his freedom.
Before we get into the podcast, which is the 290 something, special thanks to Bass and Bly, sponsors of the podcast. They currently have a. Hang on, keep everyone talking. I need to share my screen here.
Oh yeah.
6 Beulah Street in Harrogate.
Pentax.
Well you done, stole my line.
Well done.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so the website, we talked about this before, but they've had a revamp with loads of new used gear on the site. A teleconverter, a 50mm f1.8 Canon lens. There's loads of stuff, hundreds of used stock on there at the minute. There is an offer which ends, I think, maybe tonight, but there'll be other offers coming soon, which is 10% off all used gear when you spend over £100. So go to bassandbly.com or
6 Beulah Street in Harrogate.
Hey, excellent stuff. And before we get into all the Leeds United stuff, just one more thing. Well, there's two more, but we'll come to one of them a bit later on. But we have an amazing raffle running at the minute on leedsthat.com with the link there, and there's also a link in the description below. The prizes, which we've been through before, are utterly insane, and there is a lot of money that we're trying to raise for Student Minds at the moment. But Rocco, what kit have we got here?
Oh, that's the Champions League Strongbow kit, I believe. It's an absolute beauty.
Signed by all the favourites: Viduka Boya, Martin Smith, Harry Kewell.
Rio Ferdinand.
But it's a classic. It's a part of Leeds history, no matter who is in it. So it's a good one.
This one's a belter as well. This is not a happy memory from the 1996 Coca-Cola Cup final, but the Thistle Hotel shirt signed by all the players. And I believe, and I don't know this for a fact, it's number 15, isn't it? So it's match one, and I believe that might be Andy Cousins. I'm not sure.
Is it Worthington?
Oh, it could be Worthington. Could be Fossil. Yeah. I think he was number 15, wasn't he?
I love this shirt, but I love it more on a wall, because when you used to wear it, that collar was so warm, wasn't it? I think I'd go out in the field with my mates as a kid, and you could just feel yourself cooking in it.
Didn't they cut it?
Like the players, a lot of the players cut it.
Calvin Palmer and Dino. You wouldn't be wearing that today, though. Not to put you off winning the prize, of course, but you'd suffocate, wouldn't you?
Do you remember who played centre midfield for Leeds in that game?
I do. It was Mark Ford and McAllister.
Was it not McAllister and Speed?
No, Speed played left wing back.
Ah.
Because Dorigo got injured at the last minute.
Gary Speed could play anywhere.
Of course he can. And there are loads of, there's a few other shirts as well. There's the 2009-2010 promotion squad signed shirt. There's a Radaby.
What player comes to your mind when you see that other shirt? There's only one player for me. There's only one player for me that comes to mind when I see that shirt.
Is it Luciano?
Yeah. You see that shirt, you just take Luciano Vecchio.
100%. And his name is signed on there as well. We have the Radaby testimonial shirt worn by Gunnar Haller, signed by 19 players, including Radaby himself. A rare piece of memorabilia there. But yeah, you can win. Well, someone will win one of each of these if you go to the link below in the description on podcast players or YouTube, or to leedsthat.com and look for the prize draw in the menu. You'll be able to enter it there, and it's only £3. There's a few bundles as well, so when you buy 3 or 4, you get a free ticket, that kind of thing. So yeah, go have a look. It's a ridiculous prize offering. Oh, I'm absolutely sweltering. There's no point hiding it, is there?
Me too.
I've battled my way through that because I'm absolutely dripping. What is it? I think it's 29 degrees in this room at the minute. Diarra, you're in lovely, cool Ireland, obviously in Dublin, where it's 19 degrees. But I think you're struggling as well.
Yeah, my house has got like a really good energy rating, so once the heat gets in, you can't get it out. It's a nightmare.
You'll never sing that. Yeah, that's right.
Winter time is great. Like, you know, you turn on the heating for like an hour and the house stays warm all day. But in summertime, I literally spend the entire day trying to keep the house cool. and I am always unsuccessful.
I'm drinking a peppermint tea. God knows why. Habit, creature of habit. Cheers.
After your 10K yesterday.
Yeah. Training for the big match. We can't do more advertising just yet, can we? Or can we?
No.
Well, it's got
3 weeks away.
I mean, this is all Leeds training. It's all Leeds content that we're talking about. So I can't get my words out. I'm that hot. But Stephen Byrne, how's the training going for the Leeds Creators Cup? So, Rocco, your training's going well. 10K Phenomenal. You did at the weekend.
Yeah, I did it in 51 minutes in sweltering heat. The Harrogate 10K came like 189th out of nearly 700. So watch out, peacocks. I'm going to be pressing like a madman.
Brendy Dean. That's what we're going to call you. Brendy Dean. The centre back presser.
Yes, one of a kind.
Stephen must have some divided loyalties going on here, though, because I know Stephen is a big fan of Only Leeds Bros, and they're on the opposite team. So he's gonna have to pick a team. You're gonna pick a side here, Stephen. Is it the Peacocks or the other guys? Names I can't even remember because we're just gonna smash them. And that's the way it's gonna be.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a recurring groin injury, so I'm not gonna be smashing anything. That came out a bit wrong.
Happy anniversary, by the
way. Need to keep my yeah. It's hot. It's hard. Again, that doesn't really bode well in that sentence either, does it? Right, quickly moving on. Diarra.
Yeah, failed signings. That's the cold shower that everyone needs, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really touched on Bijol yet as a podcast, but let's go in with the negative stuff. We were off last week because we were off last week because I had a stomach bug, which again won't go into too much detail on that. So. Yes, but yeah, Diarra. I mean, the whole of the Leeds United sphere was kicking off because we'd missed out on the signing of Habib Diarra. What are your thoughts and feelings on it? I'll give you mine.
Now? Or...
No, you go.
I'll go first because I want to say the people losing their minds about it. You know what? In some ways, I can obviously understand because it's Sunderland that he's gone to, and there was this line peddled that he wanted European football, so it was going to be a difficult deal for Leeds to do. And the fact, or maybe not a fact, but you'd like to think that they could have persuaded the player to really want to come to Leeds. But we don't know the ins and outs. And the main thing is, above all else, this club, this regime, over the last 2 seasons have been almost perfect at recruitment. So to lose your heads over something and be, it's not like it's Victor Orta and he's done it again and, whatever, it's not like that at all. They've earned our trust. So, yeah, we move on. It's happened.
Yeah, I'm very much in the same boat as Rocco there. I couldn't care less, really. Like, let's face it, I never heard of the guy before. I don't think many people did. We were duped into thinking he was going to be some sort of European Champions League level player because that's what he said he was after. If the initial story had come out, Leeds and Sunderland are chasing Habib Diarra, we all would have went, oh, okay. So that's the kind of market that this guy is in. The fact is they paid way over the odds. We offered 22 million, they offered 30. So it's not that they beat us to his contract, to his signing, and he opted for a contract with Sunderland over us. He was never given the choice of us because we never agreed a fee, because the fee that they wanted was exorbitant. Like, fair play to his parent club, they got it. Sunderland probably have a little bit more in the bank after the Joe Bellingham sale, which again Dortmund paid way over the odds for. So yeah, good luck to them. It's fine. Following what we saw on Joe Wayman's show about Noah Siddiqui, I actually fancy him. I actually think he'd be a really good player. And I know Brentford are in for him, but I think if we can get Siddiqui, I'd be more than happy with that. But then again, I've never heard of Siddiqui before either, so there's probably another 50 midfielders out there who I've never heard of before who'll be absolutely fine. Because you know what, I never heard of Ao Tanaka before either, and he's brilliant. So who knows? Don't care.
Leo Messi's looking for a move because he wants to play in a competitive league ahead of the World Cup. So I'd take that. I'd take that over Siddiqui. Yeah. So yeah, I'm the same as you on Diarra. I think it's funny what football does and hype does to you, because I think everyone was like so disappointed that we missed out. But rewind the clock 2 weeks, you'd never even heard of him. You know, if it was someone we've been chasing for 2 years, and it was going to be a proven advantage to our team, then I could see it. But it's like, come on, really? It's not. Let's not get hung up on this sort of thing.
I couldn't help thinking about Lefay as well. Like when they signed him in January, and everyone's saying, "Oh, he's the best player that's ever going to play in the Championship," and like, I immediately just knew that was nonsense. And granted, they got promoted in the end, but they completely fell off the cliff. Like they shouldn't really have gone up. They won the playoffs. But, you know, that signing did not work as everyone assumed it was going to. So, yeah, you can't judge even the best players you're not sure about. So, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, exactly. And the point made by Primecraft as well, you know, AFCON during the middle of the season, so you potentially miss out on some game time there as well. But that'll be the same for, you know, others that we might look at signing, and other clubs will be aware of that as well. So
yeah, I have to out Primecraft here. That's my nephew Richie.
Oh yeah, hey, Richie.
He's the one with the Augustine the jersey. The Augustine, the only person in the world who has an John Kevin Augustine Leeds jersey. So, hey Richie, thanks for listening. How do you move on from that?
That was the reason why Diarra was allowed on the podcast. He had to have a story of some sort of Leeds that tradition, and there it is.
There you go. Yeah.
Someone had an Augustine t-shirt.
Again, about Habib Diarra, not bothered losing him. One I actually would really like that's got the fans completely underwhelmed as opposed to the overwhelm of Diarra is Sean Longstaff. And actually, bizarrely, I've been championing Sean Longstaff for a long time. I wanted us to sign him in the January we went down. He was going for £2 million, and everyone said we needed better. And he's held the place down in Newcastle's starting lineup ever since then. They're now looking to move him on for whatever reason. They're looking to kick on. Fine, have at it. I would love Sean Longstaff. Premier League proven, bags of experience, bags of energy in that perfect age bracket. Won't let anyone down. Will become a fan favourite because he gets stuck in, he runs his, you know what's off, chips in with a couple of goals here and there, flies into tackles. Go and get him. Go and get Sean Longstaff. You know, even if it's for filling out the squad, that you know you're just improving on what you have there. Yeah, again, if we can get someone better than him, by all means get both of them. But if Sean Longstaff is available, he would be a brilliant replacement for Habib Diarra.
Yeah. Interesting. I would think Longstaff would be a great signing for us, and I think there's not really been any talk of, or any of the ones that are close to signing, let's say, of proven Premier League experience. I think we need some of that. Everyone else is coming from abroad, aren't they, at the moment? So, speaking of which, Jaka Bijol. Last time we spoke to Isaac a couple of weeks ago, that was nearly done. It is done now since we last podcasted because of my illness. £15 million from Udinese. Good signing, very good signing. Big, strong. He looked like he looked scary in his in his medical video. Something out of a Schwarzenegger film, I would say. A villainous Schwarzenegger figure.
It's funny though, isn't it? How that now, I don't know. When I see that sort of thing, I just now think Christensen, and it's is it going to be Christensen or is it going to be like more of a Pontus thing? Because you know Pontus was a revelation. So. Yeah, where will he fall in that bracket? We're not sure, but yeah, a lot of people speak very, very highly of him, and so yeah, I don't imagine. I think it seems like he was the first choice, so I don't imagine we could have got much better. So yeah, fair play, good age as well, and ready for the next step in his career. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think. Sorry, James. Yeah, I think he matches the profile, doesn't he? Like he has all the statistics. If you're looking at him from a data perspective, he's 100% a good signing, and that's why you can see why he's first choice. He also plugs a gap that we don't have. Someone who's like Pascal is relatively aerially dominant. That's easy for me to say, but he's nowhere near Bial's standard. Like Bial is on a whole other level of aerial dominance. So. Great to have him in the door, and let's see how he goes.
Keep getting a motorbike from your end. That's how hot it is. Everyone's got to have the windows open. I've closed mine and I'm regretting it already. Where are we? So, where are we?
Well, we could talk about Seb Bornau.
Yes.
Next signing.
Sebastian Bornau was going to be my the next thing I mentioned, actually. Thanks, Rocco. Because I wanted to mention the height here. We've now potentially, once he comes through, we've got 3 players over 6 foot. What is he, 6'4"?
I think he's 6'3".
6'3". We've got Bijol who's 6'4". Nemecha's 6'1". Are we starting to act on the fact that we've struggled defensively and in attacking on set pieces by signing some tall players, possibly?
Yes. Well, it seems that way, doesn't it? I think it seems like a bit of an open secret, or not even a secret at all. I think they've probably made it clear that they're trying to sign a load of big players, and they've done this research that tells them that's the best way to stay up, which worries me. It worries me, not because I think it's wrong at all.
I often wonder how long we'll get into an episode before Rocco says it worries me.
Or it really annoys me. It's this sort of thing that, this copycat thing, or trying to be clever in these ways. It often just seems to backfire.
Yeah.
But it does make sense. It's the sort of thing that one day it could be scorned, but at the same time, like I remember, when we went up last time, actually, West Ham, had a brilliant season because they had Souček. He scored about 12 headers, and set pieces, they were just incredible. I mean, we won the league under Wilkinson thanks to being nearly perfect at set pieces. So if we're amazing at set pieces, then that's a big start. And it's not a bad idea. It makes sense. But sort of anything that sort of puts all your eggs in a certain basket, instead of just, trying to improve the team, just concentrating on what we're doing rather than looking outside and, trying to mathematically stay up, instead, maybe with a half an eye on it, and maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe have half an eye on the big bastards thing, but at the same time, you're just trying to improve a team that got 100 points in the championship and probably should have had 110 at least.
That's actually a good point about the 100 points, because I meant to say that about Sunderland as well, with regards to them pipping us to Diarra. They're coming from a much lower base. I know they finished whatever it was 4th, but we dominated every team last season. They did not do that or anything even close to it. So they are way behind us in terms of their recruitment, no matter how many players they sign, but as it stands right now. I'm not convinced it's the big bastard stuff. I think we're looking at just general physical attributes. So it's power, pace, and if that comes with height, it has come the last 2 players. I'm not convinced it'll continue like that. For example, if we sign a left winger or a 10, it won't matter what height they are. And you'll just be looking at kind of general power and pace. But that's the way football has gone. You mentioned it, Rocco. West Ham got on that train a long time ago. The skill sort of stuff has kind of gone a bit out of the game. I remember we're all roughly the same age, apart from James, who's still a relative child. When we were growing up, it was Zidane, it was Baggio, it was Georgie Kincladze, Figo, R9, even Makelele, small diminutive guy. Those players are kind of, the skill level is kind of out of game now. When would you see anyone scoring a goal the way Zidane scored that Champions League final where he hooked it over his head into the top corner? It's all just power, pace, and running now. And if that's what it is, that's what it is. The game is fast, it's relentless, and you've got to be able to match those attributes. So that's what I think it is. And who matches those attributes? Sean Longstaff, which is another reason why I think I'd fancy him in that spine in that midfield. But I think the height thing, let's not make too. I personally wouldn't make too much of that. I think you might see some other players coming in who are a bit smaller, but they will be powerful, pacey players. That's what we need.
Speaking of height, Manor Solomon. So I mean, Spurs are basically given the go-ahead to Thomas Frank to keep him, to take a look at him in the summer. It sounds like Leeds are fairly optimistic, according to rumours, that he could come to Leeds, but that's one of those where we don't know, do we? And I feel like we need a player in that position. So if we don't get Solomon, who's it going to be? It obviously sounds like Real Betis are going to sign Junior Firpo at any point, so we need a left back. Are we at a point now where we kind of need quite a few signings? I mean, we're still at the point where we talked about a few weeks ago that the PSR cycle was going to end on the 30th of June, and then we start to become busy into the 1st of July. But I mean, the players are back in training in the next week or so, aren't they? So it's kind of crunch time to get these things moving, isn't it?
Sort of, yeah. But there is, 2 months till the window closes. A month and a half till the season. So yeah, no problem, no rush at this point. Yeah, I was speaking to a Spurs fan at the weekend, and he cannot see any way that they'll keep Solomon. He says they've got a abundance of left wingers and only one right winger. So it's right wingers that they want. Can Solomon play on the right? I mean, I don't see particularly why not, but he never did for Leeds, did he? I don't think at all. So he's clearly a full-blown left winger. So yeah, is he going to get ahead of the players that are already there? They probably want to improve their standard as well. I mean, they've got like Richarlison's playing out there at the moment and stuff. Maybe he'll get in ahead of him. I don't know. He's a good player, so we will see. But I don't know how are Leeds going to play it. How long are they willing to wait to see what Thomas Frank thinks of Solomon? It's a tricky one, and what is he just going to make that decision from a few pre-season games in the USA? I don't know.
The other thing to remember on Thomas Frank as well is he really wanted Archie at Brentford, so they were the first club in for him. So you would think that his chances of getting in, of Archie Gray to play in that side, are going to be huge this season for him. And I think he'll take a fresh look of Solomon. If I'm honest, I think he'll give everyone a chance. He's data driven, isn't he, by everything? So what does the data tell Thomas Frank and his team, basically?
You'd be mad not to. I mean, it's the right thing to do for any manager, is pull your squad together and have a look at them straight away. There's no point in cutting off any player at this point, of the season. Give people a couple of weeks. If they impress, give another couple of weeks. I think it's going to end up in a situation where Solomon will be made available towards the end of the window. I think that's to me where it's heading. And ironically, I think it's probably the one position we can probably wait on. The fact is, we still have Jack Harrison, whether people like him or not. He's prem proven and all those things. And although Willie Gnonto didn't have the best overall season, he finished the season brilliantly. He was excellent at the end of the season. So if he takes that form into next season, there's no reason why he couldn't be our starting left winger. And then maybe you bring in Solomon to either take the role or to put him under pressure for the role. Because I think, let's face it, DJ has the right wing sewn up. That's Dan James's position, no doubt about it. So that's the one position I'm actually not too worried about in terms of recruitment. You would like to see a centre mid, as we've already mentioned. I do think we need a 10. I'd love to see kind of big money going on a striker at 10. I never hear this Messi guy. I can't talk about him. And we probably need two left backs, because I think if the first choice left back gets in, I really don't want to see Pascal going out there. It's been a long time since he's played out there, and it did him no favours the first time. It destroyed his confidence being played out of position there. So I think we need two of those. I'm okay with Schmidt as cover for right back. I'd love to see Boyram stay, but I don't think he will at this point. Surely he would have accepted the contract now at this stage if he was going to. And Schmidt is a Swiss international fullback. He played right back for Switzerland in their last game, so there's no reason why he can't be a backup right back in the Premier League.
I think Byram's at a point in his career where he is obviously struggling with injuries, but he'll want to play wherever he possibly can. And will he get any game time at Leeds? I don't know. If we're trying to raise the bar with the squad, then it probably does limit his time, doesn't it? Wayne, we dropped the ball on Charlie Cresswell. Well, did we? Because we needed Rodon. We chose Rodon as a stable central defender, and I suspect that, well, we know this from talking to Hayden for quite a lot over the years, and Charlie's agent, that he just was ready to play football, and last season he was ready to play football, and sadly for him, like, we just didn't have the room for him to develop. We needed assurance with having someone like Rodon in. So I think it's just one of them circumstances that is unfortunate for us, because I think Cresswell is brilliant and will be amazing. He had a brilliant under-21s tournament as well. So yeah, bad timing, but I think at the time it was possibly the right thing to do.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? And yeah, he did really well. Finished the tournament with the captain's armband. Didn't lift the trophy, but he was the captain at the final whistle when England won it the other night. And yeah, I mean, we all rated him, but yeah, I think you're right. Well, that is the case, isn't it? It had to be Rodon. Like, we couldn't have not bothered with Rodon and just gone with Cresswell. It just wasn't an option, really. So sad. Should have had a buyback clause. That was a mistake. And we
Yeah.
could have had him back. And he's a big bastard as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's the
exactly.
biggest, I think. It's a machine.
It's funny because there's two players recently at the club who I value and rate that will go on and have good careers, but it wasn't going to happen for them at Leeds in the time frame that they needed it to happen. And the first player is Creswell. And I actually just wish we'd have loaned him out instead, because then he would have had the same season he's had at Toulouse, but we'd either have him or we'd be able to sell him at a much higher fee. And sometimes you have to take those gambles. A player I think is worth gambling on that way, although the fact we could do with some PSR money coming in, is Mateo Joseph. Like I think Joseph is going to have a good career. I've slated him on here from time to time, and I hold by what I said. I don't think he's going to make it at Leeds, but I think he's going to have a good career. So I would be very much in favour as a Premier League club with a few hundred million, rather than sell him for 5, 6, 7, 8 million. Just hold your horses on that, loan him out, let him have a good season somewhere else, and then we either take him back next season, and it maybe will happen for him with more experience at Leeds, or we sell him for a higher fee. But I agree with whoever wrote in that comment. I do think we missed the boat with Charlie. I think that was a mistake selling him when we did, because he was always going to have a good career.
Like you say about Joseph and him not having a good career at Leeds, it is all about the stars aligning, isn't it? And things at the right time being, us needing a player of that caliber, or like if we had another season in the Championship, thank God we don't. I think Mateo Joseph would probably get more of a look in, and it is just that he just needs time to develop. But last season he got a chance. Joel Pirro came in off the bench and was firing them in. Joseph wasn't. He had to come off and start from the bench. So yeah, timing is everything, isn't it? And like you say, he probably will have a good career. He will have a good career.
The weird thing about Joseph is, though, I don't think he'd be any better or worse in the Premier League. He has all the attributes. I think he was just misfiring a lot last season. I don't get. I know it's a step up, and usually for players that equals it'll be harder for them. But I think it was Patrick Bamford said on the Falscast a while ago, he thinks the Premier League actually suits his style of play better, and he'll play better in the Premier League than he would in the Championship. And I don't think Joseph is that dissimilar. I think Joseph could just as easily do well in the Premier League as the Championship, but I just don't see it happening for him with Leeds in the immediate future. Yeah. So, but let's retain him. Let's just, you hear a lot about PSR. You're not going to get done on PSR for 5 million. Like you're not going to get any sort of points deduction for that. So rather than sell him for the 5, 6, 7 million, hold on to him and let's just take the gamble.
Yeah, it's interesting the point you made, and your man said it again about Gnonto. Probably been more rewarded in the Premier League, and it's true. When we dropped into the Championship, you thought initially that Gnonto was going to tear it to shreds, and he just didn't really, did he? But it's funny from an outside perspective. My brother-in-law is like a big Arsenal fan, and he always talks about Gnonto and asks how he's doing, because I think the perception of him from an outside perspective of when we were in the Premier League was that he was unbelievable and he was going to be like the next big thing, and he did some amazing things. The goal at Old Trafford, the Stretford end, is one that springs to mind, and just amazing moments. So yeah, I think it is the Premier League is different, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next season.
Big season for Gnonto, isn't it? Especially if he does get to start the season. And although he wasn't a starter last season in the end, he did keep James out of the team for the playoff final the previous season. So that's how highly Farke rates him. So, probably part of the reason he stuck around, knowing that he will get a chance in the Premier League, whether he starts on the opening day or not. I think as things stand, obviously, he probably will. And we'll see. Yeah, a lot of it's about confidence, isn't it? Gets off the mark like he did when he signed. I can't remember what he did first. Was it the Bournemouth assist maybe at Elland Road in the last minute for Somerville? But he got off to a flying start, and then he was just away. And then since then, it's been a rocky road for him with his transfer request, and then stop-start really for the last 2 years. Moments of quality, but never really let us down. He's done well. But yeah, it's big ask for him. He's going to have to raise it again. So yeah, I don't see why he can't. I'm pretty confident that, like Diarra said, that the wings are my least concern really.
What about players heading out then? Jack Harrison, is he going to come back into the club and into the fold? I think Moyes quite likes him, but you never know, do you? I can't imagine him staying at Leeds. I think there's definitely a few players that are potentially on the way out for PSR, like we said. But Jack Harrison might be a tricky one to move on. I don't know if there'll be any suitors for him, really.
Tough one, isn't it? I think he's going to be one of these that plays a couple of pre-season games and then he'll get his move. I'm pretty sure his agents must be working on trying to get him a move away, really.
I have the opposite opinion. I think Daniel Farke is going to love him. Every manager Jack Harrison has played for trusted him and played him, and he's defensively very, very sound. And we know that Farke is a little bit risk adverse, particularly in big games. Jack Harrison is a Farke player, lads, whether we like it or not. He is the type of player that Farke can put on that pitch and trust that he will not let his man run off him, that he will run till the last moment, that if he gets an opportunity, he'll show a bit of quality. That's a Farke player. I think Farke's going to absolutely love him.
Yeah. The one thing I'm if that is the case, and I you know, it makes sense, and it's an advantage to have Harrison over Solomon in that regard, that he will track back, because Solomon often didn't. Maybe that was a tactic. But do you not think we'd have heard something like the club would have said to the press, like, oh, you know, Harrison's going to be starting the season, by the way, and it would have leaked out that Harrison is is part of the plans. Like, no one said anything. It's just been absolute silence on it.
Yeah, that's a great point, Rocco, and I think what that touches on, I don't think it's the club's position to do that right now. We're not back in pre-season yet, and he's a Leeds player, so you just take him back and you go from there. But very much like Thomas Frank taking a look at Solomon, I think Farke has to take a look at Harrison, and he'll know everything about Harrison anyway. Mm-hmm. But the interesting point you make there is about not hearing from anyone. Jack Harrison's a bit of a strange guy. Like, if we remember all the goals he scored at Leeds, I never once saw him celebrate. And people used to think that meant he didn't love Leeds and this, that, and the other. And I don't understand why his relationship with Leeds has fallen apart so much. His mother said some stuff in the crowd at one time. He's never said a bad word. No, he's never said a good word either. But he was like that when he was at Leeds. He's actually just really, really quiet. He doesn't even celebrate his goals, because the minute he scores a goal, he's so professional. He actually goes straight into recovery mode and takes a breath. Watch it. Go back and watch any of his goals. The minute he scores, he stops, hands on his hips, and starts breathing, because he wants to get in the recovery time for the minute and a half he has before kick off again. He's a bit of an odd guy. We just have to accept that.
There you go.
Oh,
that was a big goal. That was a big goal.
Look at that crowd. No, he didn't even celebrate Pablo's goal at Swansea. He
that's true.
And also, and the 5-4.
Remember his thunderbolt against Newcastle?
Yeah,
where he smashed it in from like 30 yards. He just literally turned around and walked back to his position. He's a strange guy, and he's as a fan, that's kind of difficult to relate to. But when you put all the pieces together and you see he does it all the time, it's just the way he is.
Yeah. And I think as well, it's definitely there was no positive sentiment with a lot of those players at that time anyway. You know, when Harrison left us, everyone was in the mud. We just wanted rid of all of them, didn't we? Like, as fan sentiment goes, it was pretty low for all of them. And Jack Harrison went in the space of a few weeks from give him a new contract to, right, see you later, never want to see you again. So, you know.
And you remember, he was one of the ones who collapsed in the goal and sat in the goal, devastated when we got relegated, because he knew that meant he was leaving the club. I honestly think if we'd have stayed in the Premier League, which was Jack Harrison's ambition to play Premier League football, that he'd have been happy to finish his career with Leeds. I just, like, a bit in that kind of Batty mold of, I'm a footballer, this is my job, I'm here to do it. But the most emotion I ever saw Jack Harrison display was when we were relegated, and he sat in the goal mouth with his, or even maybe had it back against the post at one point, and he was absolutely good. So, you know, what his mom says in the crowd, that's not on him. Like, I've got an embarrassing mother as well, lads. You know? You know what I mean?
Yeah, tell me about it. God. Goalkeepers Nick Pope's been talked about as well, hasn't he, a lot recently, and that seems to be gaining a bit of momentum. I didn't think it'd be one that was on the cards, to be honest. Not that I think it's a bad idea or a bad shout, but yeah, interesting that it's getting talked about a lot more.
I'd love it. And Trafford is edging his way to Newcastle. That transfer guy Romano is, well, he's tweeting every day now, isn't he? One step closer, one step closer. So yeah, in about a week he'll be here we go, and yeah, hopefully we can get Pope.
I would love Pope. I think he's one of the best keepers going, but it makes no sense to me, because if Trafford goes from Burnley and Pope was at Burnley where he made his name, surely they just make it part of the deal that Pope comes in the opposite direction and he go back to the club he's familiar with. For me, we're going to get Ramsdale. I think we're going to get Ramsdale. I'm fine with that. He's got a buyout clause at Southampton. He's a good keeper. I think we love him, actually, because of the way he plays up to the crowd.
Oh, not fun.
Yeah, he's not everyone's cup of tea, but that's who I think we're going to get. And
just because of how he was in the away end at the playoff final as well, he's done for me. Wasn't he wearing? What was he wearing? He was wearing something, wasn't he? Like a suit in the away end. Do you remember this?
No, I had no idea. Is he a Southampton fan?
You carry on. I'm going to find this.
I don't know what I think about Ramsdale, really. He did do well for Arsenal. He was a bit unlucky to lose his place. So, yeah, and Southampton this season, that's a tough gig, isn't it? Like, you can't really write him off for that.
No.
Did he get in England? He must have. Has he been in? Has he played for England?
He's been in England squads, and I think if anything that this season has shown us is you don't need to be a spectacular keeper. You just need to not make stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
Excuse the Daily Mail website, but yeah, Aaron Ramsdale dressed as Hagrid at the playoff final against Leeds.
What's that about?
Exactly. So yeah, that's done for me. Oh dear.
All right, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Diarra. I knew by the end of this I would have convinced you otherwise.
Listen, I'm an academic man. If you show me evidence that would change my decision, then I'd be stupid to stick with the same decision. So no, Ramsdale can go and leave. Your own.
That's a Burnley.
Yeah, never mind. Okay.
Germany. Leeds United like touring Germany without fans. What's that about? It's 2 years in a... Farke obviously likes taking the players over there for whatever reason, but why are we getting this that the fans can't go over there? I saw someone on Twitter say, "Oh, it doesn't matter." It's like, well, it does, because there's a lot of fans who love going to see Leeds home and away. They look forward to pre-season, being able to travel around Europe and see their team in another country. There's so many of the Leeds fans that flew out to Australia a few seasons ago. They would definitely fly out somewhere closer, like Germany. But yeah, it's really disappointing. Feels like a missed opportunity to engage with the fans at a kind of community level, but also monetary as well. You know, from a PSR perspective, getting fans along to a game brings in revenue to the club.
Bizarre, very bizarre, and disgraceful. Why are they doing it? And can't they just come out and say, "Look, Farke wants to play behind closed doors games"? I mean, they've not done that yet, have they? But no. If it's not Farke's, it must be Farke's decision, surely. Like, why?
It was the police.
Yeah, but we could just play somewhere where we can have fans, and it's not like it's an abrupt thing. Like, we know this from last season. There's no excuse whatsoever. They've done it on purpose. Surely.
No, they haven't. So I can't remember where I read this. It must have been Leeds Live. I'm not sure if it was Isaac. So last season, fair enough, and it was the police who said we couldn't have fans, but we agreed to that early doors. This season there was an agreement that we could go to the same place and have matches with fans in the stadium, and the police apparently a week ago turned around and said, "Oh, sorry, we've changed our mind due to resources. We can no longer facilitate the security of this event on the amount of people, the thousands of people that were coming into the town and the city over the course of that period of time." So they cancelled it. Like, for me, it's just stupid. It's like, when you do a risk assessment on anything, you know, you have to look at these things, and surely something that has a precedent that happened last season, where the police can just shut you down at a moment's notice, is a big risk. It's probably too big again. Yeah, just don't go back there again. Just go, look,
spite, if nothing else.
Yeah, a little bit of that. Yeah, to be fair, a little bit like, look, we gave you a great opportunity to bring in some revenue to your town, and you've decided against it. So, yeah, I think it was a bad decision for the club to go back there. They probably did it in good faith, assuming that, you know, they'd had assurances from the police force that they could have fans at the stadium. But obviously they've reneged on that, and to be honest, I kind of do blame Leeds a little bit because they knew it was a possibility and they ran that gauntlet, and it's fallen down on them. So it's just unfortunate for fans, because I love it when Leeds fans who live 2 minutes away from Leeds have to fly to a game. Because see how I feel, lads.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of those as well where if they're worried about past experiences of Leeds fans, that's long gone, you know, any trouble. All the pre-season stuff always goes down really well, travel very well. So it's a real shame. Shame for supporters, shame for, like you say, local economy in these places as well. Germany's loss, let's say.
But Ireland's gain, because we'll have more people wanting to come to the Aviva Stadium on the 9th of August? 11th?
Yeah, let's say yes.
9th?
Yeah, so that's very disappointing. Like Andy says, if no fans go to Germany, come and see a better game at John Charles Centre. A reminder for anyone at this point that we are playing in the Leeds Creators Cup, which is all for charity. So when you buy your ticket, the money goes to charity. The event has really good sponsors who've put money in for being able to stream it, providing kits, providing loads of facilities. So when you buy a ticket, the money goes to charity. So yeah, goes to Prostate Cancer UK. The link is in the description on your podcast player and on YouTube.
And if you are around, do come, because we're taking this very seriously. There's a lot of training going on. A lot of training. I've eaten chicken and broccoli more this week than I have in the last 7 years since I've been training properly.
You do look like you've lost a weight on your face, actually, Diarra.
I've lost a little bit, a few pounds. I played a match at my nephew's wedding in Portugal, and someone videoed part of it, and I did not like the way I looked, and I went, nah, that's not happening for the Creators Cup. So I've been on a lean protein and good carb diet, not too bad, for the last while. Doing me 5Ks, do some interval running and shuttle runs, which I think was James's idea. And I've been bringing the ball out with me as well.
I haven't done any shuttle runs myself yet, just the idea of it.
You don't do anything, you've got an injured crotch.
Yeah, it's true, actually. Very true. Yeah, any other thoughts? Anything you want to pluck out from this week's madness? It feels like we're getting into busy season in the coming days, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Let's moan about the kit, shall we? That's been leaked. The definite kit has been seen, hung up in the club shop, I believe, and it's still got that disgusting red and yellow splodge in the middle of it, ruining it.
Yeah, we put this on, I'll just share my screen for anyone watching live. We put this on Twitter a couple of days ago that Footy Headlines were covering it. And we always sort of say Footy Headlines are the ones to watch because they generally get it right. But yeah, they've got the Lowfield Tunnel nod on the collar and the armband as well. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a shirt, isn't it?
I've no real, it's a bit boring. It's a bit of a lazy design. Like, it looks exactly the same as last season's, apart from the Lowfield Tunnel bit. But if the rumored blue away jersey are true, then that looks absolutely mint, and I will save my dollars for that one. That looks really, really nice.
There was someone, maybe it's conspiracy theory stuff, but saying that the reason why Strauch and other players were wearing the old kit, and Nyonto was wearing it as well. Did he have Batty on the back of his shirt? I think on the parade, didn't he? Wearing them was a nod to that era, potentially, but maybe not, because it was a night kit as well. So I don't think Adidas would want a nod to
that. True. Well, having said that, if the kit is a play on that kit, then they're just all about the Yankee dollar, aren't they? Just whatever will sell.
We love you, Yankees.
Dollar.
We love it. And you know, Americans don't think they're called Yankees. Americans think that the only Yankees are New Yorkers. If you call an American a Yankee, they're like, "But I'm not from New York," and you're like,
"It's a bit like Cockneys. Cockneys aren't just Londoners, are they? They're specifically East Londoners."
Oh, did not know that.
Yeah, my nan was a Cockney. Yeah, bless her. Great. Anything else?
Yes.
I'm so hot. It's ridiculous.
We have to pay tribute to Alan Peacock, who very sadly died today, and very little known striker in the Revy team because he was injured, basically. So this is the guy that Reevy bought when we were gunning for promotion from Division 2. He was an England international and he dropped down to Leeds in the second division, scored the goals, fired us to promotion, and then he's basically injured for the rest of his career. And this in these early years, it cost us massively because that first season in the top division, we missed out on the title by goal difference, and our striker was injured pretty much all season. He came back in like January and scored a load of goals, and then got injured again.
That sounds very Leedsy, doesn't it? It's like it's been there all this time.
Yeah, and he was my dad's favourite player as well. In those days, Peachy, he was called. He had a fantastic header, power header on him. So yeah, he could have been a legend alongside of the names of all the people that we know, but sadly, very unfortunately for him and for us, he will never be cast in the same light as those club greats. But yeah, still a great in my eyes.
You have to really feel for players of that era who got injured, don't you? Because it was so easy to get injured given the tackles that were going in unpunished. And then the medical side of things, things that now would be a keyhole surgery and you're out for 6 weeks were career ending. So it's really, really sad to see something like that. And as you mentioned, Rocco, a guy who dropped down a league to join Leeds, who was an England international, who would have continued to be an England international in one of the best teams the world has ever seen. It's a real shame for his career, and obviously our sympathies go to his family and friends today.
Yeah, 100%, and thank you for that. I think on that note, it's probably time to leave it there, isn't it? And as we said before, there's all sorts of things happening over the coming weeks in Leeds, and obviously with the charity football match as well. So make sure you check those out and go follow some of the other people within the Yorkshire Roses, our team as well. But yeah, we'll be talking about that more over the coming weeks, and just keep an eye out on the socials for it as well. But yeah, cheers Rocco, cheers Diarra.
You forgot the big one.
Oh no, you can do it.
Oh, my 5-year-old son, he watches YouTube all the time now, just like football highlights. And he woke up this morning and he said, "What does subscribe mean?" so I nearly just phoned you, Diarra, to give the pitch, but didn't want to disturb you.
Yeah, smash a like and subscribe. Actually, hit the bell for notifications. You can watch us live now because James likes notification. James likes going live now, and if you hit the notification button as well, you'll hear when we're live.
Yeah, you do.
Over the summer, it's quite sporadic.
Yeah, it's at the minute. I mean, we are planning on doing 1 or 2 a week, but illness has got the better of us last week. But we'll definitely be back for more as things pick up over the coming weeks as well. But yeah, thanks ever so much for joining us, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.